everybody, welcome back to another episode of George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformers fan. Today on George Reviews, we'll be taking a look at Hasbro Marvel Legends Haslab Galactus. This is a gigantic figure. In a previous video, I unboxed the figure so I didn't have to squeeze much more into this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very long video, and we're going to take a look at the three heroes as well. We're going to give everything and all the accessories a full review, and we're going to start by taking a look at the details on this figure. Then we're going to jump into articulation, and then we're going to do the three heroes in that order. So sit back and enjoy, and let's take a look. Alright everybody, I want to go in up close, and we're going to take a look at the molded in detail and the paint apps that they put into this figure, and just try to check out what really makes this thing special. Start with the head, of course. Take a look at the top of the head and the antlers. There's several different paint apps going on here with the antlers. Different versions of this, what is it, a burgundy, maroon, or whatever. Right here, he actually has some separate molded in gray plastic that is placed into the head of the figure, which looks fantastic. You can see the different paint apps going on in here. A metallic like burgundy going on there, a purplish color, I don't know what to call it. Please forgive me. A lot of fantastic molded in detail on this figure. The eyes look great. They do light up. We'll get to that. And the flesh color of the face looks very, very realistic. The detail in the lips looks great. Some lighter blue paint apps going on in these things right here. I mean, this figure looks great. They didn't spare detail. They didn't just blow them up and say, well, here you go. Looks fantastic. This armor piece is a separate piece going over the other body. Coming around here. This part is hard, but down here is more pliable. Almost like you could maybe take it off, maybe. You can see where it goes into the body. But yeah, it's pliable. This part right here, I've already put batteries in it. I'm just gonna hit it now, and I'll come back to that later. This lights up right here. We got some. This looks to be a complete. It is. I can get my nail behind. This is a separate gray piece of plastic placed into the chest. So we got a lot of different molds coming together to form this figure. And the fabric detail to the outfit. You can see where he even has abs under here molded in. It looks fantastic. Coming down to the waist. This little belt piece. This whole like tunic thing or skirt piece or whatever is separate. So you can get your fingers behind it and pull it again. You might be able to take it off if you wanted to. Who would do that? Continue with the arms. So big I got to go back up and come down again. Again, the fabric like detail in here, the line work. Some more paint apps, some more separate plastic in here. Coming down to his hands. Yeah, they did not spare the detail on this figure. See if I can get his arms up a little bit out of the way. So we take a look at more of what we have here molded in. And you can move these pieces out to the side. And take a look under. What's going on here? More molded in fabric detail on this guy. It's like, who tailored this guy out there in the universe? Alright, coming back to the waist, I did not want to miss out on examining the detail in the belt. It looks great. I know I'm going to say that a lot, but it really does. A lot of different paint apps going on here. On top of the molded in detail that's already there. I don't know if I put this back correctly. I'm trying to be thorough. I don't know if I messed that up. And it goes under the belt. There we go. I think that's how it was. But yeah, just a lot of detail everywhere with multiple layered paint apps. Back at the legs again, coming down to the boots. We got some paint apps in here. This is a separate plastic piece. This is a separate plastic piece put into there, and we got some pearlescent purple going on here, burgundy, again, whatever color this is. And it looks pretty damn good. Down to his feet. Spin Galactus around and continue on. Coming back up, and again, multiple paint apps going on. These things or whatever light up right here. They don't light up, but they're painted as if they light up. And separate molded in gray pieces here. Back of the boots. Fabric detailing continues on the legs, the calves. And I'm assuming we're going to get the same thing from the back as we got from the front when we get to the skirt piece. Molded in detail, fabric, the wrinkles. Belt also continuing around to the back. This armor piece. There's more detail to the armor piece back here. And again, it is pliable. You can move it around. Totally separate piece. More separate plastic molded in. Backs of his arms. Shoulders. I might as well just show it off now. Right here is where the batteries go in. It's a simple Phillips screwdriver that goes in right there, and two AAA batteries go into his back, and this piece just pops in, pops off. No problem to it. And continue to the top of the head. You show that off and pull off the battery cover at the same time. Get a little bit more light on the top of his head. And now I'm going to go for the battery cover. Just pull it up. This is the top of the head. And same thing. Simple screwdriver system in here. Right there. His head takes two AAA batteries. While I have it off, this piece right here has different plastics coming together to form the molding in detail, which is cool. And some paint apps that I may have missed. The light blue right there if I had not pulled off this section here. Alright, now we're going to take a look at Galactus's light up feature. And keep in mind, I have several ring lights on this guy, and you can still see these lights brightly. And even after the fact, my son's been playing with this thing for 2 days with the lights on. So you just push this button in his chest, and even with all the lights, it still stands out. Coming to his head, his eyes light up, and the ears light up. Now, I believe they're intentionally not as bright as the forehead lights and the chest lights. And as you can see, the lights cycle through, to me, an indiscernible pattern. They might blink a little bit faster than they blink slower. And as far as I know, there is no off switch. They just stay on till they cut off, which is a few minutes, and they continue through this little pattern or whatever. It would have been so nice if they had continued the lights down here. And it would have been so nice. You spin them around, then you can see the lights continue behind the little earpieces right here and into his back, which looks fantastic. And we're going to go dark mode. And again, I don't have to because you can see it under all these lights. But I'm going to cut out the lights and take a look at Galactus's lights in the dark. Well, I'm not going to cut out all the lights, but just a couple lights. Just get a better look. Also, a thing of note, when you push the chest light, it lights up the head, like it functions together. But if you push the back of the head light without pushing the chest light, the button's located right here, and it lights up the head independently if you haven't already pressed the chest. But we've already pressed the chest, so we're going to get it all. But if I hadn't, only the head will light up, which is kind of cool. And again, there is no off button that I've seen with this thing. And the light pipes through the neck once you push. Oh, it did. It cut it off. I just hit the head button, and now we have just the head going on. So I just learned it right now. So, and it's doing its own thing independently. But this sends a signal through the neck. Let's see if we can get the head off. See if we're going to do it one-handed. Alright, and this sends a signal to here. You can see it. There's a little light sensor in there. And there is the sensor right there that tells the head, the chest tells the head to activate right there. And they didn't put any lights in the Doom head, which since I have it off, we're going to go ahead and put the Doom head. And it just sits in there on friction. Here is the Doom head. If you didn't see the unboxing. And it just sits on there. It sits on there pretty well. And this Doom head looks fantastic. I don't care for like this little incarnation or whatever when he took over Galactus, but this thing looks good. Not a fanboy of it, but looks absolutely fantastic nonetheless. And then the hoodie is just like, it's sagging in certain places, it's folded and creased in certain places. Looks really good. Alright, since we already have the head off, I'm going to go ahead and do the whole faceplate thing. He has 2 extra interchangeable faceplates. You can just take the head while it's off. You can also do it while the head is still on, but this way is a little bit easier. You can just take your finger, poke out the face right there. Slide it out. This is all there is. Turn it around. That's all there is. You could take the grimacing face, which looks equally as impressive as the straight face. 2 different plastics going on here, and I love it when they do that. Just love it. And slide it right in here. And now we have our angry Galactus. I hunger, hunger. Nope, didn't have it in all the way. There it is, fits in securely, and again, looks just like real flesh. Looks fantastic. And again, one more time. Now we have the dead head. Same thing. Pops out the same way and pops in the same way. This actually fits a little bit better. Here is the dead head. We'll go and take a look at the back of it. Take a look at the back of it because I think it's 2 different pieces as well. Yep, it's 2 different pieces put together to form the skeletal face. Not my favorite. I probably won't even be using this one at all. Still looks pretty damn cool. There you have it. Galactus' interchangeable faces. Alright, now I'm going to get in and do the articulation. I'm going to start with his head. Where else will we start at? His head can only look up so far. Just the hair. When it's fully sitting down on the neck joint, he can look down this much, which is not a lot, considering that he's like a giant figure and you kind of want him looking down on your other figures. But if you lift up the neck joint a little bit and kind of get it off the peg, he can look down more and he can look up like that. But at this point, it's just sitting on there. So not a lot of up and down out of this neck joint. His head can look this far to the left, to his left. This far to the right. It will 360, but when you do that, when you turn it, the head hits this plate in the back and it comes off. So the head has the ability to 360, but not the true functionality of the 360. So we're going to go to his arms. They come up this far. And I think they come up more, but when you do this, you start to crack the armor right here. It separates on both sides. So it's not broken, it's just where it's separated and cleaved together. And so this is basically how much you can get up out of the shoulder joints before you separate the armor up here, because this is a harder plastic than this down here. So the shoulders will full 360. Oh, maybe not. Okay, we're getting that same separation. And look, I just scraped the arm on mine, so you might want to 360 it if you have this figure, if you've gotten it. So yeah, that sucked immediately. So I will no longer be going maximum articulation on this figure. Bicep swivel, and I'm pretty sure it does 360. You can hit a ratchet. That's the main thing. I want you to hit a ratchet in a figure to hear how sturdy it is. Elbow bend. It's the double jointed elbow, and this is what we're getting out of the elbow. Coming down to Galactus wrist. 360 out of that's a softer little ratchet in there. You can barely hear it, but I can feel it more than hear it. He has a wrist hinge this far in, that far out. Now for Galactus's fingers, he has a lot of joint articulation in these fingers. Alright, next up is Galactus's waist, and I don't know how I'm gonna hold this and articulate this. I don't see. Yeah, I think there is an ab cut. I'm gonna lift this up. You can see. I don't know if it's gonna crunch or what, or how he's gonna pull this one off, but and me hold on to the figure. He's so big. I have to get him from behind in a Heimlich. Alright, I didn't hear it click, but he bends over this far at that joint. I'm gonna stand back up. Yeah, there's no click to it. It just falls over in. If you pressed on it more, you probably can get more, but I don't want to damage any of this armor or straps in here. And now for the waists. I don't feel the waist turning. I feel it turning at the top on the abdomen or torso articulation. So I'm not sure if he has a waist swivel. Yeah, I'm getting this. Again, if you can see it, he has an articulation here and then a separate articulation down here. If I'm showing that, can you see it? One here and one here. So no real waist swivel. You just get the, I guess you get it out of the torso and then the ab crunch part. And I've activated the lights. I've accidentally activated the lights, but yeah, I don't see. I don't see where else it would articulate, because yeah, this part is kind of fused on the side. So yeah, he has the 1-2 articulation there, and again, not getting a lot. So now we're going to come down to his legs. Now they look to be standard Marvel Legend leg joints, but he has all this stuff in the weight of the figure. So side kick like that, and I'm pretty sure the weight, he's not going to stand up. Our Galactus figure can fully do the splits. Just like upper thigh swivel right here. Kick to the front and back. Let's see what he has. It's not easy. Again, I think it's hitting his butt plate. It's not doing a lot front and back. Galactus's knee is double jointed, and we can get that much out of it, which is pretty darn good. This high, right there, the knee. I don't think it's a boot cut. Oh, actually there is, and it's a very strong ratcheted boot cut. I'm pretty sure 360, but we are not going to do that right now today. And now for his foot. Okay, it rocks to the front this far. And to the back. Oh, it sounds so scary. And it rocks to the back that far. Okay, it doesn't look like a lot, but it's definitely going to the back. And does it swivel? Or it doesn't swivel at the foot. Just the boot cut, and this little piece right here articulates out of the way. And you can see the joint right there. Okay, I don't remember if I did it, but I'm doing it again. He has side to side in the foot, a rocker that you would find on any action figure Marvel Legend category, like so. And I don't know if we got a good look at the bottom of his feet, and here we are. Okay, before I move on to Galactus' heroes, I totally forgot. We're going to have to size him up and run him down, and this isn't going to be easy. Here he is next to Netflix Classics Voltron, Mega Action Toys Optimus Prime, NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Donatello, Combiner Wars Predaking, a little bit of G1 Love Transformers Grand Maximus, Masters of the Universe Classics Castle Grayskull with Point Dread, not quite making the picture. Here he is with World's Smallest Castle Grayskull and World's Smallest He-Man with Wind Raider. Wait, what? Still holding this position as largest toy in my collection is Masters of the Universe Classics Snake Mountain from Super 7. Last but not least, we have the Battle of Haslab Planet Eaters. We have Marvel Legends Galactus and Transformers Unicron. Alright, let's take a look at our Heroes of Galactus. These were the tier figures. Once it reached so many backers, you got these figures for free. Now, there's no way. Alright, Marvel Legends go for what? $22.99, $23 at most retail places now. So, and I think Galactus sold like 20,000 backers. So they want to convince us that these are free figures. So they threw in what is it? Close to $80 worth of free figures to 20,000 backers. I mean, the math on that alone, like, no, they costed these figures in and decided to go ahead and throw them to us as it reached higher goals or whatever, but totally costed in and would have been released later if they didn't make it into the tiers or whatever. So thanks for nothing, but they look pretty cool. So we're going to take a look at them, you cheap bastards. I'll start with Morg, the guy I know the least about. I know he used to be Executioner before he became a hero. Like, he followed Nova, but I don't know that much about the guy. But the texture on his skin looks fantastic. These knots, boils, or scales, or shingles, whatever the hell they are, they look pretty good. He has the Hulk Hogan hairstyle in the back going on back here, flowing with the bald-headed mullet. He has this smirky, cocky grin on his face. Has these piercing red eyes, which looks kind of cool. One of them looks a little bit crossed on camera, but it looks better looking directly at it. I guess it's where it's set into his head. Like, okay, now you can see it better. And you can see the individual teeth. That looks pretty darn good. He's clad in this silver plastic for his armor. The gauntlets on his wrist, around his waist, and the boots. Spiky boots look pretty cool. The pants are made out of brown plastic. Right here, this is paint over the silver. This is one silver piece right here from his abdomen to his crotch. And not a whole lot going on. Then they gave him one weapon, but no interchangeable hands. He's the only guy in the set that doesn't come with interchangeable hands. Speaking of his hands, he has 3 fingers and a thumb. But again, no interchangeable hands for this guy. So let's take a look at this articulation on Morg. He's not going to be able to look up at all because this mullet is already blocking and got his head kind of going that way. But maybe if we lift up the mullet, we can get the head, no, just right there in the middle. Alright, he can look left, but the hair, they should have made it a lot softer. I mean, it's slightly pliable, but it's pretty hard to... If you're going to turn his head left and right, he's going to look straight down. So that's all we get. But he can look down, like that. Shoulder joint. It shows up this far. Who did my hair? Has these little spikes jutting out, molded into him right here on his shoulders. 360 out of that. Feels like a very soft ratchet in there. 360 at the bicep swivel. Double hinged elbow under there, and it has detailing all over his body, even on his elbows. Coming down to these gauntlets, I believe they're a separate piece. They might be glued on. They're not moving, but coming to his hand, this part right here is pliable, so he can move it around. You can 360 his hand. He has a hinge right there, allowing his hand to hinge in and out, and they're kind of stuck in this same gripping position because we don't have interchangeable hands. Pretty sure the same thing follows over to his right arm. Coming to his waist articulation, he just rotates right here. Wheel 360, stretching the plastic a little bit, and just a little bit of a crunch. It must be down there. I can't see it, but it allows him to crunch a little bit down there, and not really much back, just back in the same position. His legs slide out this far to the sides. Front and back, we can get this much out of it. He has the thigh swivel right there, 360 out of that. Bam. Did we take a look at that joint? Oh, it looks like a dumbbell joint right there and there. Probably could disassemble this guy if you wanted to. Come to his knee. It is double hinged. Get this much out of it. And does the boot swivel? No boot swivel. We get the ankle swivel, that big ball right there. It rotates and it rocks side to side. It goes front to back. And it looks pretty good. When I saw the pictures, I was like, oh, this guy is so plain. I'm not going to be a fan of this guy. But he actually looks pretty cool. And I mean, he looks perfect for an executioner, boy. This guy is not pretty. He looks all business. This is his axe. And this was his axe before he became a hero. So it still has like the blood of his people on it. And now it's a cosmic execution axe or whatever. It's the same plastic he's made of. I believe Silver Surfer 2, this may be a coat of paint on Silver Surfer, I don't know. But same silver plastic that covers the rest of his armor. And there's a bit of paint on the hilt. And it's like a black, and I'm shocked. Normally, if they don't use a separate paint app somewhere else, they will just use the same paint app. I'm shocked that it's not the same brown paint right there. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, not a lot going on with this guy. But the molded in detail and just the fierceness he gives off makes him pretty cool. Alright, next up is Frankie Raye. I know her as Nova. She was once a girlfriend of Johnny Storm, and she preceded Morg as a herald of Galactus. This figure is all golden pearlescent plastic. It looks fantastic. I had to play with her feet to get her to stand, and I don't think it's necessarily her hair pulling her back. It's just weird the way her legs line up, so I kind of got one foot in front of the other. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with it, but she's just one of those figures that don't want to stand, and I've had a lot of trouble with the female Marvel Legend figures over the years. But here she is again, all gold plastic except for the hair. The hair is like this little bit of translucent orange plastic with some yellowish gold paint over it to bring out the flames and the detailing and the scope, which is very nice. But they didn't have to make it this hard, in my opinion. And they could have hollowed this out. It looks to be two pieces put together. It looks like it separates right here along this line. But she looks good. I think she got the boot as a hero because she saved the people of the planet, or didn't take Galactus to the planet where it was inhabited, something like that, and then she was casted out. The body looks good. Definitely a female scope. She comes with these open like energy blast hands, which looks good. I don't see any need. She comes with interchangeable hands, but I'll probably, after the review, she's going to be wearing these hands. Let's take a look at her face. She has the white eyes. She's wearing a bit of lipstick, or she has color to her lips. Good looking figure. So let's take a look at her articulation. And because of the hair, I'm not expecting much, as she can look left and right, kind of sits on her shoulder. So that's kind of good, but she looks down when it happens. As far as looking up, it is not going to happen. She looks down this far. I guess that's some. Gets it off her back and side to side. Her shoulders. Get her arms up this far. And this shoulder, like, doesn't quite want to. There we go. Man. Get her arms up this far at the shoulders. We can take that arm for a 360. Biceps for a full 360. Double hinge elbow. It's always one part of the double hinge that's frozen and don't want to cooperate. There we go. Alright, I had to twist and turn it. Nope, still not. I don't have it double hinge. There we go. There it is. Now she's double hinging. Coming to her wrist. It should 360 because of the interchangeable hands, of course. And it's just an open hand. She has a little bit of finger mold and detail in there. And let's see if she has fingernails. It looks like a little bit of fingernail right there. And just beneath her breast, there's an articulation. And it's very hard to move it right here. And we can get that much out of it. That much out of it. Well, we can rear her back this far and bring her forward ever so slightly. And there is no waist articulation because they wanted to keep the sculpt and her female body intact, which I'm cool with. Leg up this far to the front, this far to the back. It's hitting on her butt cheek right there. Not giving a whole lot to the back. To the sides, same dumbbell hinge inside of there as the previous figure. 360 at the thigh. Double hinge knee. Ah, come on. Come on, Nova. Break it down. Frankie Raye. Here we go, no, double hinge knee. And there's no cut at the calf coming down to her foot. There's a slight wrinkle molded into her foot right there. Front and back. And some side to side. Frankie comes with 2 sets of interchangeable hands. She has the fists right here and the slightly gripping hands. But there is nothing for her to slightly grip. She doesn't even have an accessory, so they could have kept these hands and gave Morg an extra set of hands for me. So pop these out. Eventually pop these out. There we go. Oh my goodness, that is a tight fit. Alright, and here she is with fists. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I can get into this with a fist like she's sort of attacking. So I might use these, but the open hands look good enough for me. And jumping right into her next set of hands, the gripping hands. Same amount of difficulty plugging them in. It was a little bit tight of a fit. And all the hands share the same articulation. They 360 and they are hinged just beneath the palm and on the back of the hand. Alright, Frankie comes with this flame effect, and it's pretty cool, but you got to find the right spot. I think this is where her leg goes to kind of look like she's rising from the fire, like right here. Then once she's on it, it's kind of weirdly unbalanced. Alright, kind of balanced her by having her hang over and distribute her weight forward and use the back of the flame effect as balance. You kind of get that. It feels like it was more made to sit in Galactus's hand as opposed to a flat surface with her hanging out of the flames. But might be able to get something out of it that I can't. But this is what I got. Last but definitely not least, it's a Silver Surfer. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th one I have. I haven't opened any of them. They're still in the packaging. But here he is. He's in all silver. You could tell this. I thought it was like a paint app over him, but I believe this is like a pearlescent silver plastic. Looks very good. It actually looks better to my naked eye than it does looking at it through the monitor. It's much more silvery. Through the monitor, it looks like more of a grayish plastic. It looks good, and it's a surfer, so it's not a whole lot going on with his body. It's just a nude buck from Marvel Legends, and I believe this is a newer buck, sculpted just for this figure, and it'll probably be used 1,000 times going forward. Take a look at his face. Standard stuff, surfer stuff, but looks good. Stern, serious face, whited out eyes, a little bit of black outlining his eyes. Yeah, I mean, surfer. Let's take a look at his articulation. Finally, somebody who can look up. He can look way up. He can fly coming straight forward. Way down. I mean, that bald head is helping this out. And it actually looks like it pops forward a bit. It has an in and out. Yeah, to it. I think I felt it in those guys, but their heads are hindered by their hair. So, go for a full 360 ride on the surfer. His arms up this far, and that right one comes up pretty darn far. Shoulder socket for 360, and he has butterfly joints, which are moving on me while I'm trying to do something else. But he has butterfly joints, allowing him to get his arms across the front of his body, so he can pretty much fold his arms. I'm skipping around articulation, but yeah, the surfer can fold his arms, which is pretty cool. Bicep swivel right there. Nice molding detailing on his arm and tricep area right there. Double hinge out his elbow. I already done it. Get it this far. His wrist, 360 right there. Wrist hinge on in and out motion. He has the ab crunch. Bam. This far down. Bam. That far back. Waist articulation. Silver Surfer. Hooray. His legs out this far to the side, which is a lot. Coming forward. Boop. To the back. To the back. To the back, to the back. Thigh swivel, boom. Double hinge knee. Shin cut right there. He's sporting the most articulation out of any of these guys. I guess he's the star of the heroes, but there it is. The surfer. So, switch out his hands now. And I'm probably going to use, I don't know. Both these hands are cool. Open hands. Probably rotate these and keep changing them around. Open hands, energy effect, wielding his powers, cosmic right here. Looks pretty darn good. And switching over to, I'm gonna call these the surfing hands. He's posed on a surfboard, kind of coming at you. I guess both hands can serve this purpose right here. And he also comes with an energy effect. I guess I should just back up one hand. This is the energy effect, and this is the same blast that been coming with figures for years, at least 5-6 years that I know of. When I got back into collecting Legends, and it sort of kind of just goes anywhere you can get it around the hand or wrist area, and spell cast and energy effect is bubbling and rippling at the same time as doing all type of stuff. But that is that. And on the box they have like a jet stream coming out. I wish they had gave him something like that. Okay, so what would the Silver Surfer be without his cosmic surfboard? It's one single piece of plastic with some lines going down the middle and one peg for him to stand on, which is kind of, wish they put a couple on here. So we can choose whether or not we want him at the back of the board, the front of the board, or whatever. But there's a hole in the bottom of his foot. Round peg goes in round hole. And sometimes his ankle wants to give out or roll to the side. And he comes off, but we can get him on the surfboard doing his thing. Also, he comes with a display base of energy to get the surfboard on here. Now, it's kind of weird. It's made weird. And I don't know if it's made to fit better into his hand, but you kind of got a whoosh of energy and almost like a water-like wave up here and an arrow that shows you which way to put the board on. But it's just weird, and it doesn't stand too great on a flat surface. And it actually, you would think it's molded for his hand, but it's weird either way. Like with this, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, you can slot the surfboard into the wave right here and position it to your liking. And then the hinge here, it's articulated. It's like a ball and a hinge. It rolls 360, but it's like it never sits in quite the right. It can only go this far, and if you try to turn it this way, it never sits quite right to me. Then when you get the surfer on it, the balance becomes even more unbalanced. And he kind of wants to go over. I mean, you can play with it to get it, but it shouldn't be this hard to get him to stand on this thing. And how hard would it be just to make it a tripod or just a even stand instead of we get like this whoosh? And why is the whoosh purple? Like only because they gave us this energy blast in purple. It should have been clear. whatever, and pretend like it's just floating, because he doesn't actually ride on a wave of anything, you know. It's just the board. So that's weird, but he can stand, but it is a chore. Real quick, here's a little bit of a size up and rundown, and if you know, you know. All right, my final thoughts on Galactus. I'm happy I bought this figure. I don't think I would pay like aftermarket prices to get this guy like double the price or whatever. Far as playability, he's so big when you try to handle him. I mean, it took a lot for me to go through the articulation portion, and I wasn't like behind the camera or holding the camera, and it wasn't easy at all. So far as playing with this guy, it's not really going to be there. He's going to be a display piece mostly, and you can fiddle around with him because he has the accessories, the interchangeable face plates, the Doom head, which can make them a little bit playable, or just varying on your shelf when you change them monthly, weekly, or whatever, however you want to display them. His heroes are great. I don't know if we all needed another Silver Surfer, because if you collect Marvel Legends, chances are you grab one of the Silver Surfers. I mean, he's a legendary character just as much as Galactus himself. But it's a very, very impressive figure. I am happy to have it. If you're waiting on yours, I think most people got theirs now. It took me forever to get this review out. But if you're thinking about getting this on a secondhand market, I'm not sure what it's going for, but I'm pretty sure it's not cheap. And I'm pretty sure it's around twice the price of the retail, which was a lot. And the whole crowdfunding thing has gotten so tired. And I've backed it a few times, but I think, I would say this is my last time, but I'm waiting for 2 more crowdfunds. I recently backed the Hiss, which I regret. My friend talked me into do it. And I backed the Thunder Tank from Super 7. So, but this is it. I mean, truly, this is it. Paying for a figure 18 months in advance is just a lot. I mean, if I don't get it, if they don't start putting these things like at retail, I'm not going for it. And people love saying they can't carry a box that big at retail. Man, have you seen Power Wheels at Walmart and Target in these toy aisles? Those boxes are huge. They carry like the tanks and stuff like that for Power Wheels, so they can carry these stuff at retail. And those things go for $400, and that's what these things go for. So you can't tell me they can't have it in the store and have space for it, and we not have to pay a year in advance. That's basically all I have for you guys, and there's not much more to say about this figure. It's impressive and it stands on its own. So I want to thank everyone for watching another episode of George Reviews, the reviews where every toy has a story.